Joji Smithereens album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from Joji, aka Frank Miller, the former Filthy Frank, who since 2017 has gotten aboard this sort of sad boy alternative R&B train. He did so by releasing his In Tongues debut EP, which I thought was okay. I mean, listen, he's got some great singles like Pills and Window. I thought these tracks were great. My only issue was the consistency. When this EP was bad, it was genuinely unlistenable. And shortly after, Joji put out his Ballads 1 full-length debut, and I had almost the exact same feelings on it. On the one hand, there was some really great alternative R&B tunes, very emotional, fairly well performed as well, but when this album was bad, I couldn't stand it. But I still had a lot of hope for Joji, and I did see the potential in his music, and that's why when he released his last full-length album, Nectar, I was actually pretty impressed with what he was doing, and I regret not reviewing it. I thought this was by far his most consistent project, had some of his best singles on it. The production all around just seemed to just match his style so perfectly. It was also very consistent, which leads me to this new project, Smithereens. Honestly, I thought leading up to this album, I thought Frank was putting out some of his best singles. And that is why this is such a confusing project. Like, this album starts off with Glimpse of Us, and honestly, first hearing it, I was a little reserved with how stripped down it was. I mean, this thing is bare bones, but it's nothing short of a tremendous ballad. Probably one of the best he's ever put out. I mean, you want a freaking ballad. Here's a freaking ballad. It's sweet, it's tender, it's beyond powerful, and vocal-wise, it's some of his best work to date. It's a tearjerker for sure. You have to give the guy credit because this is stunning. I do really like feeling it in the end, too. I do really like feeling it like the end as well. I mean, I personally needed a little something lighter on the ears, a little bit airier after Glimpse of Us, and that's what this is. And between the drum machine beat and the acoustic strumming, this is exactly where I want to hear Joji at the end of the day. I think it's a great track. I mean, it's short and sweet, but it really does work. On the other hand, Die For You comes off almost like a lullaby by way of Joji. This beat is very nocturnal, very Twilight, very soft. But it's so sweet and loving. The universal themes are timeless here. It's something that Joji knows like the back of his hand, but he really makes you feel it with a passionate performance. What's not to like here? And Before the Day Is Over is soulful as hell. I mean, for my liking, I personally would have liked to hear a few more sad boy beats pop into this album because they are scarce. But what it does do is put the focus all on Joji, and I will always like that. Because of that, it works really well, it's easy to get lost in, and it's another very solid track. Not only that, but by the time the beat does drop, I'm completely invested. It's a pretty awesome tune. Now, disc 1 here ends up with Dissolve, which is a track that I thought I was going to like. I usually do like when he breaks out the guitar for some acoustic strumming. But this is really wishy-washy in a genre that you have to be a little washed out and fuzzy and hazy. But I feel like we've been here, folks, and it's a shame because it does have its moments. This chorus is full of life, but there's no progression. Frank here sounds like he's phoning it in, and I can't really get past that, which makes this project so frustrating because, like I said, this ends off side A of this project. This project is 9 tracks long, barely 30 minutes. Like, where's the content here? I mean, Night Rider's really cool. I mean, I love how desolate and cold this sounds. I mean, hearing Frank on a beat like this is actually pretty refreshing. It's different than a lot of his stuff, and it shows him gaining a lot of confidence, and that's something that makes me happy. It's short and it's sweet, but dare I say, it's exciting. But then I hear the blah 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 demo, and I feel like Frank is messing with us. I mean, is this just some elaborate Filthy Frank scheme at the end of the day? This absolutely sounds like a demo in more ways than one. For one, the production is easily some of the most bare bones here. This just sounds unfinished. I'm pretty shocked by how unfinished it sounds, and Frank just sounds lost. And ironically, the Yukon Interlude for an interlude is one of the strongest moments here. I love this off-kilter, kind of a stretch for Frank of an instrumental that has a very strong piano beat. But Frank's telling lyrics are a knockout here, and the production is pretty, I don't know, just about as perfect as it could be. Frank here sounds like he found a good medium. But then we get the 1 a.m. freestyle, and I'm right back to thinking that this just sounds I don't know, like, Frank didn't finish this project. It's phoned in, and that's a shame because this beaten atmosphere sounds like Joji knows exactly what the hell he's doing. But outside of that, this is phoned in. This is thrown at a wall to see if it sticks, and it barely does. I'm not even that crazy about his vocals. This project is really complicated and really hard for me to rate because on one hand, you have 6 really great tracks here that may be some of Frank's best material in general, but you can't call this an album. This is barely 30 minutes. You got 2 sides of an album. The second half almost completely written off. And I'm shocked by just how unfinished this comes off. So if you want my thoughts, yeah, most of the stuff here is actually pretty good and just reignites my thought that Joji has so much potential in these genres, but come on. You can't tell me that you were a little disappointed by this. You can't tell me that this album, if you want to call it an album, seems finished. It's definitely an odd one. Because the quality of the good material is so good, I'm feeling a very, very light 7 on this album, if you want to call it that. But let me know what you all think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.